Welcome to the topic on adding new items to your price book. I am currently in the Price Book Center, which I accessed from the JobMaster Pro main menu by clicking on the Price Book Center button. Now the key to adding new items into the price book is to know if you already have existing items in the price book that are similar to the ones that you want to add, because that is a very different proposition than adding items to your price book that you don't have at all currently in your price book. So for example, if I know that I have breakers in my price book and I want to find out the recall name and the product group for breakers, what I would do is click into my price book lookup and find breakers in my price book, or furnaces, or whatever like item that you're trying to add into your price book. And the reason I'm doing this is that then what I could do is I could double click on an existing item in my price book and just make a few modifications to a few key fields, you see, instead of trying to enter everything all over again. The other reason is if I wanted to know what item number to use, then I know by the groups of items here what item numbers are available. And notice that our price books are always numbered by tens. We do that on purpose so that you could insert up to 10 items between each of the existing ones in the price book. So for example, if there's a new type of breaker that is the same type of as this one, I can double click on it and bring it up on the main screen. And I need to give this one a new number, so what I'm going to do is just click back into the item number, and I'm going to replace the 0 with a 1 because I know that the 1 does not exist in the price book. 28321 does not currently exist in the price book. So then once I've saved this item, it will also be added to my price book as a new item. So in this case, when we do it like this, where we're using existing price book items, I can just press enter through the fields, or just click into the fields and change the values that I want to change, and then just save the item. So maybe the description is going to be slightly different, or something like that. You can just change the description a little bit, do whatever you need to this newly added item before you actually save it by clicking the save button on the toolbar. Now the other way to add a new item is to click the new button, which doesn't clear the whole screen, but what it does do is clear the item number. And in this case, we're telling Cobra that we want it to actually item our numbers for us. And what it will do is literally go to the very end of the price book, get the last number, and then add to it to get your next new number. So again, I'll click new. It will clear that item number, and I'm not going to worry about that. So what I'm going to do is write over the description field with the new description that I want. So whatever the description is, you can enter it in there. And then when you press enter, you're brought down to the product group. So if you're entering a brand new group of items, you want to enter its own product group. So because you can use numbers on letters, you can create a 4-character product group for this group of items. And the recall name, that can be up to 6 characters. So as I press enter, I can enter any value in any of these fields. If I were to save this item and a key field was not filled in, Cobra will tell you that. So you don't have to worry about forgetting something. If Cobra needs it, it'll tell you that. So you could fill in the vendor model number, even a bin location. If this item is in your inventory, you could enter its bin location. If a supplier is going to be updating the cost for this item, you can enter the vendor ID for that item. Otherwise, because that vendor ID is highlighted, or the value in the field is highlighted, you can just press enter and that will delete it. Vendor part. Very similar. If I want to do serial number tracking or something, I might want to get that vendor part in there too, which could be the same as the model number or your vendor's catalog number, whatever you want. And the trade number. Again, that is used primarily in conjunction with a price update service, but all of these fields that I've been entering data into, you can search for this item on. So at least let it be the catalog number from that supplier. You know, whatever. And as I press enter through these fields, I'm just going to delete that link number by hitting my space to get rid of that value. Now, this is the key. I can enter now the cost for the item. Let's say that we buy it for $350. And the E represents each. In other words, the $350 is for each one of them that we buy. If you would put M here for hundreds, it would recalculate your cost down to an each level. So I'm going to put the 350 back here. And I can enter my markups now or later for this item. But if I know that I want to mark this item up 50%, I would enter my 50 with a decimal on it. And then notice that the regular price is calculated. So I'm just pressing enter through these fields. I could enter a labor unit. It normally takes us 4 hours to install one. And what is my estimating cost? Well, because I can buy it a little bit better for my bid jobs than for my service work, my estimating cost might be slightly lower than my billing cost. Or maybe it's the same for this type of item. So whatever that is, you can enter it in the estimating cost. And whether you want to handle inventory now or later is up to you. But when you're ready to tackle this item in inventory, start tracking it, you can set the reorder level for that item at anything greater than 0. And then the on-hand quantity, which is how many you have currently on hand, will be reduced every time this item is posted to the job. Now if I press enter again, keep in mind at any time I can click my save button to save this item. But if I keep hitting my enter key, the price codes tab comes open, and I can also set my price codes for this item, or if I've already set up price codes, review the lesson on price codes, you can set your price codes up for this particular item. Just remember to click in and enter through them so that the prices are recalculated using these new price codes. And as I keep pressing enter, Cobra will eventually save my item. Now it's permanently in the price book with this item number. So if I wanted to enter another Rude furnace, I've already got one entered in here, and so I could just use the next item number, come down to the description, make the slight changes that I need on the description, and same with model number. I can do the same thing with all these different fields. Now what I'm doing that you're not seeing here is, you notice when a field is highlighted, when you press enter, a field becomes highlighted. So I could just press space to delete that field, but what I want to do is get at that last number at the end of the vendor part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press my right arrow, which takes the highlight away and takes me to the end of the field. So then I can just backspace and replace that last number with the next number. So that's kind of a little keyboarding technique that we've got for you. So again, just press enter through the fields, or just click into the ones that you want to change. And you're done. So now when we go into our price book lookup, by either double clicking on the item number or clicking find, I want to refresh my list here if I don't see my new recall name on the list. So for example, if furnace is a new recall name that I just added into the price book and it doesn't exist on this list, just click your refresh button and you'll see it on here. But when you double click on it, then you can see the furnaces that you have in your price book, or those new items that you just added, as I just added these 2 items. This ends the lesson on adding new items into your price book.